Yeah, we need y'all to like this video, subscribe,
leave a
comment.
Okay, Greatness Personified back with another one, a breakdown and prediction video for a UFC fight night. Petr Yan and Merab Dvalishvili. Let's just jump right into this, man. We got a nice little card here. Nothing too crazy, but
it's better than the last couple of cards we had.
Yeah,
the non-pay-per-views.
Yeah, a lot of the more recent fight nights was kind of low ball.
Yeah, they had like 2 or 3 fights that was decent. And this card is almost stacked of fights. It looks like almost every fight is good.
If we just take a brief look at the prelims, you got Carsten Harris and we got Abubakar Nurmagomedov. He's starting off the card. This Nurmagomedov, his record is, I don't know, man.
He got some ground to make up, to be honest.
He got a lot of ground to make up.
He's not a terrible fighter by any means, but he's been held to high standards, man. And Carsten, after that Shavkat loss, man, he got some ground to make up too.
But he won since then, huh?
I don't think so. I think that was his last loss, his last fight, man.
He was on a win streak before that, and Shavkat has turned out to be something different. So it ain't the worst thing in the world. So that'll be an interesting way to kick off the card. Then we got Tyson Nam versus Bruno Silva. At first, I was like, Bruno Silva in the wrong weight class.
Oh yeah, another Bruno
I was like, Silva. Man, you got beat that bad? But no, we got
dropped down 4 weight classes.
We got the Bulldog Bruno Silva here, not to be confused with the middleweight version. Interesting fight. For what I can look at, I would definitely be going with Tyson Nam here. And then the next fight, we got Victor Henry and Tony Gravely here. Victor Henry, he lost that fight with Rafael Assunção in his last one.
Yeah, he lost, man. But that's the guy I have real high hopes on. He has crazy output, crazy cardio.
Yeah, he cool, but Tony Gravely's going to work him.
I think Victor is going to be in the top 15, if I'm to be honest. I think so, man, because he slept on Rafael. Rafael, every now and then he comes back and he'll beat somebody who's up and coming. He does that, and then he'll lose the next one.
This would be a good one. I'll watch that one. That's interesting. We got Ariane Lipski here and JJ Aldrich.
I tell you one thing, Ariana, she got to make up some ground. That Priscilla fight, she got obliterated.
And I was not expecting that fight to go down like that. She got knocked out in a minute. And I hate to say this, but I'm looking at the record now, man. 8 losses, 4 by KO.
It's just her decision making is not the best. Because even when she got hurt, she recovered. I feel like if her IQ was a little bit better, she probably could have recovered. You know, and she had other fights where she was in bad positions. She made bad decisions at the worst time. But
low-key kind of got lucky with that submission, that knee bar. If I'm not mistaken, I think she was kind of getting handled up to that one, and it kept her around a little bit. She had to highlight real finish, but she fighting against a tough JJ Aldrich. Then we got Assunção and Davy Grant.
It seems like a lot of these people fought each other. Because I noticed, like, we're going to get to some of these other guys, but a lot of these guys, like, they fought Davy Grant, they fought Rafael Assunção. I don't know if they're trying to get rid of some of these guys. You think that's what they're trying to do?
Potentially.
I don't know. But
they kind of bringing in a new group of guys, man. And some of these people who've been around for a while and haven't really made any waves, they might just be kind of cleaning out
because Davey fought Jonathan Martinez. And then we just got to talk about Rafael Assunção with Victor Henry.
And then, remember, I accidentally mentioned Draco Rodriguez, but it was another Rodriguez. When I looked on Tony Gravely's record, I saw Draco Rodriguez, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's what I thought I was.
They fighting each other.
They all fighting each other. But I think they're going to get some of these guys out of here, to be honest. They're going to clean the weeds and keep the people who actually are, like how you got your Jonathan Martinez's who are going on win streaks and they getting better, looking better.
Yeah.
Mario Batista's, they going to keep them around, and some of these other people.
I think so, because a lot of bantamweights are fighting on this card, and the UFC is full of bantamweights. Mario is ranked like, what, 35? You got to see how good Mario is. He's ranked like in the 30s. The UFC, they trying to cleanse out the bantamweight division. That's what they doing.
This is going to be a fight where we're going to see is Rafael Assunção going to be able to keep up the momentum.
A lot of these guys, Rafael age, they kind of towards the end of their careers. You ever notice? Either they're out of the UFC or they're at the end of it.
Davey 37 too, man.
Yeah, but Rafael been around a long time though.
Oh yeah. Okay, all his losses come by submission though. But see, Rafael have a hard time getting the fight to the ground lately, so I ain't really. Then we got Mario Batista, speaking of
the bantamweight,
and he fighting against Guido Canetti, who just embarrassed. What's your boy name? What's your guy?
Oh yeah, you talking about Randy
Costa?
He my guy. But the thing is, man, like, we try to be positive because we talk about guys going on losing streaks and then turn their careers over. If he beats Mario Batista, he'd be on a 3-fight win streak. So we talk about guys like the what's the guy named, the Dominic Reyes. Can he get on the win streak? And we try to talk about, because he's the example on how fighters can do that. They can go on a losing streak
Batista too.
And then go on the win streak.
Mario Batista had 2 losses in the UFC.
Yeah, so fighters can turn their careers around like that.
You got to take the right fights though. And then we got Cedricus Dumas fighting Josh Friend. Josh Friend coming off that loss against.
That's when his head almost popped off.
Yeah, and then we get up here to. I don't know too much about Carl Williams, but I remember Lucas Brzezinski. He fought Martin Gerdau. Yeah, I thought Lucas won that one, and then we got Anton Turkalj versus Vitor Petrino. This dude looked familiar. Oh, he lost to Jelton Almeida. Remember he took that fight on short notice? And he got beat real fast.
Yeah.
So then we get up here, we get to the real card. We got Saeed and Jonathan Martinez.
I hate this fight, man. I like both these guys.
I know, me too. I really like Jonathan Martinez. He quiet, he handled business, and things are coming together for him. And they give him a tough fight here, but I think he can do it though.
Can I be real with you, man? The one thing that stands out is what we just got to talking about, the Davy Grant fight. Davy put it on him. I know he hurt Davy actually in the first round. He dropped him. I think you got to fight him a certain way. Jonathan Martinez, if you don't fight him a certain way, you're going to lose. Man, if you make a kickboxing match, you're going to lose. But if you can make it kind of a brawl or like a boxing match, you can.
That ain't how Saeed fight though. That is,
man.
Saeed stand up does not include a jab. It don't even include a whole bunch of punches.
Yeah, but Davy don't throw jabs either though. Davy just went to the body.
But that ain't how.
I know he ain't cerebral like
Saeed is not a workhorse. He won't do a whole lot, but he's really crafty at the few things that he does. Those spinning kicks, those high kicks. For some reason, he only does a handful of things, but he's really good at being opportunistic and being crafty with it. And then even in his last fight against Romanov, he was tired, he was gassed, and he was still able to pull it off. I think that was more of Romanov messing up more than anything.
He kept on forcing it.
Yeah, he was forcing it.
Yeah.
But I think Jonathan Martinez might win. If he can really use those kicks, hey, I can see him winning this fight.
If he do to him what he did to Cub Swanson, nobody knew what he was going to do. Cub didn't know if he was going to the body, the head kick.
He almost looked like a mini Yair Rodriguez, low key. I can see this fight going either way. Obviously, Saeed will be the favorite, but I'm saying don't sleep on Jonathan Martinez. Then we got Ricardo Ramos versus Austin Lingo.
Hey, can I be real with you? I think this dude is so overrated.
Who?
Ricardo, his striking. He got the highlight reel, spinning elbows and stuff. And I went and looked at his fights. And yeah, he has good footwork.
You can almost see him looking for the spinning back elbow.
Even when he knocked out Zahabi, A-Man Zahabi, he threw it like 2 or 3 times before it landed. You remember that? He threw it like once or twice, and then he threw it again in like a period of 1 second.
Sometimes it seemed like he almost get hurt first, and then when they come in to try to finish the job, that's when he throws it. Yeah. So I hope that he's not overly going to the well with this too much. Look, the spinning back elbow is amazing. It's cool. He has the most finishes in the UFC with the spinning back elbow. So it's a trademark move. But at the same time, you got to have jabs and leg kicks and other things too. Now he does have those things, but it seems like you can see him hunting for it. I don't like that, man. And then he's going against Austin Lingo. I like Austin, man. I think he took that fight against Yusuf on short notice, and he got a win over Jacob Kilborn. I don't even think he's in the UFC no more. He beat up on Luis Saldana.
You know what it is, right?
Yeah, I remember that. Remember he beat him down.
You remember the guy who fought Sean Woodson last, and he screwed it up.
So that's gonna be an interesting fight though.
But Lewis showed the blueprint to kind of how to beat him too, with the footwork and the leg kicks and the body. Obviously Lewis don't pull the trigger like we want him to, but Ricardo, he kind of fight like that too, right? He kind of move around, he throw body kicks, he throw leg kicks, he frustrate his opponent somewhat. But you know he's trying to hit him. He's trying to throw the Hail Mary.
And you know you're looking for that spinning back elbow, so you could just beat. So that's gonna be a good action fight though, for sure. And then speaking of action fight, we get the main event. It's supposed to be last week fight card. It's on this card. It's going to be at a catch weight. Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann. And my prediction stays the same. Now, Nikita pulled out of that fight, right?
I think so.
So I would have to lean towards Ryan because Nikita pulled out for a reason. And if it caused you to pull out of a main event, I don't imagine that's over. It's a 3-round fight now.
That's
so
weird.
now it benefits Ryan. Because the cardio was the biggest reason last week that I was like, because I can see Ryan doing really good for at least a little bit and then the cardio catching up. But I'm definitely leaning towards Ryan at this point, with this only being 3 rounds.
Well, I'm still going to roll with Nikita.
Why did he pull out last week? That's fixed now all of a sudden in 7 days.
Illness. Oh, he was sick.
Sometimes you can just have a stomach thing.
He couldn't fight through that though?
No, you know how sometimes it really puts you down. But then you know how if you vomit or if you do you know what I'm saying? You know how you can get it out your system, and then you know how you feel better immediately.
Imagine him in that 4th round against Ryan Spann, and he's ill.
Yeah, he was gonna get beat last week. Baby.
The reason why I'm going with Nikita is because of the volume.
As long as it ain't like his knee was messed up or something, because I would be like, how did you? But if you had a stomach bug or something like that, and you got it out your system, you would be perfectly fine after this.
I just don't like the fact that Ryan throw 1 strike at a time. It works at a certain level. I don't think it works at Nikita's level.
And then you would have to be headhunting. Because it ain't like Ryan got the boxing to be going to the body and mixing it up like that with that high IQ level of striking. So it'll be just pure hunting because, he got some knockout power. But
but we made a whole video about this fight. So, I mean, we can go back and watch that.
And then we got the co-main event, Alexander Volkov, who's still around some kind of way. And then Alexander Romanov. And, Volkov is a very interesting fighter because you never know if he's on a win streak or if he's on a losing streak, because he was always a top heavyweight outside of the UFC. He was always one of those people we wanted to get in the octagon. And then when we did get him in the octagon, well, technically, if you look at his losses, Derek Lewis, Curtis Blade, Ciryl Gane, Tom Aspinall, these people have either fought for the title or they finna fight for the title. Tom Aspinall definitely gonna fight for the title one day. Ciryl Gane fighting for it tonight. Curtis Blade's gonna fight for it, and Derek fought for it.
And he was winning that fight. So
and he was winning Derek Lewis fighting.
I think the thing is, Alexander Romanov is a real good fighter, but I don't think
he's a great
stylist. But stylistically, I don't think he has the style to beat Volkov, because the people who beat them, they got striking, they got wrestling, they mixing it up. It's a certain level. Like when he fought Tom Aspinall, Tom was throwing hands, and then he'll take him down, and you would never know where he's gonna shoot. Alexander Romanov has the grappling like that. He has the grappling that Tom has. He just don't have the hands.
Yeah.
His hands is terrible. He's fighting like Roy Jones with his hands down. It's like, bro, you're not Roy Jones, man. Like, you look bad.
It's so funny because you never know if you're going to get a really good performance from Volkov or if he's going to go in there and just be a dud.
I see what you're saying.
You scratch your head. Like, what was that one fight that we watched?
Ciryl Gane?
He didn't do nothing in that fight. He did nothing in that fight. But then it's weird because he looked good against Alistair. He looked good against Walt Harris. I understand that Curtis Blades wrestling.
You know what it is, dude? Like Alexander, he's a very calculated fighter. Even against Rosenstrike, he was leg kick, and everything was just cerebral. And he couldn't play the game with Ciryl Gane. He got frustrated.
Is this Tom Aspinall one the one where he got
taken down? He just got taken down and destroyed, man.
And I was like, dude, I have never seen Volkov. It looked like he was going downhill until he beat Jairzinho. So I don't know about that.
It's kind of hard to hold that Rosenstrike fight too, man, because Rosenstrike is another mixed bag. So you can't really count that as a win. The only issue I got with Alexander Romanov, we know he's a great grappler, but he had this one fight against Julian Espino where Julian, he did like an illegal knee strike to groin. Yeah. It kind of looked like Romanov was looking for a way out. I hate to say it, man. I'm going to just keep it real. He was looking for a way out, and then he ended up winning because of a technical decision.
And he was already winning up to that point, but he was starting to get gassed.
Yeah, like it was like around halfway in the second round. That's when Romanov started to gas out, man. And then Julian started taking him down, and it was like he was looking for a way out, Romanov. I think Alexander gets him to the second, third round, and then probably finish him.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Finishes him, man.
I know what you're talking about, though, because I remember we watched that fight, and I remember thinking, is he going to take a way out because he technically is up?
Yeah,
but is he getting tired? And last thing
I'm gonna say, even Romanov against Morrison, that third round, he was playing around. Bro, your health is on the line. Why are you playing? Yeah. It's like he's playing around too much, man.
And those early rounds don't mean that much now. You got to win these rounds to win this fight.
Yeah.
And speaking of people who play around, but they do the opposite. Petr Yan. It's so weird. I talk about this with you all the time. I don't know how much we talk about it on the podcast. The thing is, Petr is going to win those last few rounds. We've seen that in the last Aljamain fight. Mm-hmm. However bad Aljamain won rounds 2 and 3, Petr did the same thing for rounds 4 and 5. But the thing is, Petr gave up that first round. That's why I thought Aljamain won, because it seemed like Petr was just trying to get information, but you lost the round.
Yeah.
And Aljamain was more active and like trying. Petr did the same thing against Corey Sandhagen, but he was able to drop Corey Sandhagen, and that's what shifted the tide of that fight because he actually caught Corey. But then
you want to tell what it is?
Sean O'Malley fight. It's like
he's getting data. He's getting data and stuff, man, in the first couple of rounds. But that only works if you're fighting Jose Aldo with horrible cardio.
Or Uriah Faber at the end of his career.
If you're doing this against somebody who you can't finish in the 4th or 5th round, you just gave up those rounds for nothing.
And Merab, we saw what he went through against Marlon Moraes, and that's the best Marlon can offer, and that's what makes Marlon so dangerous.
I was thinking this too because Merab, the shot he took from Marlon,
the shots he took from Marlon, I don't think Petr can replicate that. Because if there's only one thing Marlon will be better at Petr than, and that is just going scorched earth, balls to the wall, throwing everything at you and the kitchen sink.
There's two ways you can look at it. From the point of Merab has a great chin, he has a great heart, he's durable, he can overcome adversity, but you also could look at it as what if Petr can pull the trigger. And maybe what if he can hurt Merab but look for a way to finish him?
And be more calculated with it.
Merab was hurt and he did show like for like a second. You actually can argue that
Marlon
should stop the fight, man. At one point he fell face first. But obviously we know Petr Young, he's too calculated. So I think even if you hurt Merab, he'll be on his back.
if he hurt Merab early in the round, we'll look up and they'll still be fighting.
Yeah.
At the end of that round. See, the thing is, Marlon, his killer instinct is crazy, but he goes all the way, and if he don't get the finish, he gasses. On the other end, Petr, he might hurt him, but then he ain't really gonna pull the trigger like that because I don't know what his thing is where he just want to finish fights late. I don't understand that all the way. But Merab does train with Aljamain. Now, they have different styles of fighting, but there's some similarities. Aljamain is a little bit more well-rounded, so his striking improvement helped him open up the wrestling in the second fight because we saw that he couldn't get no takedowns in that first fight, but he was able to get some takedowns in that second fight, but his striking got better as well. Merab has no striking. But it's kind of weird because I'll tell you this all the time. People who striking ain't the best, it actually opens up for them to be able to do unexpected things like how Khabib was able to drop Conor because Conor thought he was going for a takedown. And then he went for overhand right. And so then Conor was like, well, what the heck? It kind of opens that up.
They got two different styles, especially when it comes to the grappling too. Because Merab he's stronger. He's more of a technical type of position over submission, hold him in certain positions against a cage and win out the rounds like he did against Jose. Jose, man, could stay at home that night. There was no way he's going to win. It was kind of...
It's kind of messed up.
It's kind of messed up to win a fight like that, man. You signed up to brawl and fight, but then you fight like that. But at the same time, that style, man, like it's kind of hard to stop too.
It wins.
But at the same time, I don't think he'll be able to finish Petr because he's not like a finisher. He's just somebody who has a bunch of takedowns. And what, 58?
There was a UFC video that said all 54 of Merab's takedowns. They had a compilation, and that video was from a year ago. So, but he didn't get none of Jose, so I don't think anything's changed. But the fact is, I was watching Aljamain's channel, and he said that what Merab does well is, he said even if he don't get the takedown, he still controls you up against the cage. There is no way that he's going to be able to do that against Petr.
Yes, he is.
There is no way he's going to do that against Petr.
Yes, he is. Not for the whole round like he did Jose, but he's definitely going to control him. That's hard to stop. A lot of fighters can't stop that.
Man, Petr should be strong enough to stop that.
I don't think so, man. I hate to say it.
Because Petr's last fight against Sean was completely different. Sean is a completely different style of fighter. And ironically, I think Merab probably would have beat Sean. Because if Petr can get a takedown, Merab can. Yeah. And he can keep you there. Petr couldn't keep him there.
See, I agree with you. The only way it might not happen is because it just happened to Jose. Maybe he showed his tricks.
And I think that was the ceiling of, if I can't get the takedown, then I have to, because he didn't really stand up with him a lot. He really just kind of kept him up against I think at the end of the fight, when the bell rang, they was up against the cage and Jose just walked away like, dude, what in the world was this? That sucked.
I think this is the highest you can go, man, without having a strike in the hands.
So at some point, you have to have striking. And the thing is, I think that Petr has enough defensive and offensive wrestling to at least, he can stand up or he can at least be able to separate against the cage. But at some point, you got to have striking. It's a 25-minute fight. Dude, who knows what would have happened if Jose had 10 more minutes? Because he was stuffing the takedowns. So that's half the battle is won. Now you just got to actually do something while you separate it.
The only thing is Petr going to be giving up rounds too, man. I can see him in the close rounds when nothing really happened. He's definitely going to either be against the cage or he's going to be on his back.
And for some reason, Petr seemed to make bad decisions that lead to him losing close fights. And Merab seemed to be able to make good decisions that make fights closer than what they should be. And
so if he loses his fight, that'd be his fourth loss in his last 5 fights.
And low-key, he was finna lose the Corey Sandhagen one. He was down bad up until he won rounds 3, 4, and 5. And he was losing up until he dropped Corey in round 3. So arguably, he could really be low-key finna lose 5 fights in a row here, if we're being honest.
And then if we're going to be real, Merab is the least good fighter out of the top 5. Doesn't make sense. Because you got to understand, Petr could be fighting Cheeto. He could be fighting any one of the other guys, Henry Cejudo. It's guys who better than Merab. So I think it's more winnable than any other guy in the top 5.
And the UFC did it because they were trying to give Petr a dog in this fight to get back into contendership. But at the same time, it will be a good win for Merab. So at that point, you could argue that maybe Merab versus Sean.
Has he ever been in a 5-round fight? And also, in Merab, all he got to do is make these rounds close. You got to understand, Petr, he is not getting no favor from the judges.
And he made bad decisions. It's his style. You can't give up rounds. Every fight that Petr had, all these close fights he lost. Look, hold on. Aljamain, illegal knee. Shouldn't even be a loss. Aljamain, a split decision, gave up the first round. Yeah. Lost. Sean O'Malley, gave up first round. Lost. Like, what are you doing, man?
He's in a position he's not supposed to be in.
He technically should be on a, hold on. He technically should be on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fight win streak.
Yeah.
And you know why? He gave up 2 rounds in all these fights combined, and that's the reason why
when he threw that illegal knee against Aljamain, he was never the same.
It changed his whole trajectory.
And that's why I can't pick him.
He make bad decisions. He remind me of what's that one guy? Who are some of these fighters who just they make some of the most head scratching decisions? Remember, it was a few guys. They might drop somebody and then they'll run off and jump on the cage like they won, and the referee like, I didn't stop the fight.
Like Rusimov or however.
But it's people who had a history of just making bad decisions in fights, and then they'll end up losing. And I'll be like, what? And Peter does that at a higher level, but he's still doing it.
It's almost like the opposite of what John Jones do, man. He find a way to win. He don't really make that many mistakes. It's almost like they look for ways to lose.
It's Peter, man. I would almost start saying it may be time to invest in a sports psychologist, because when you start losing, you know what happened? When you start losing close fights, guess what happens next? You start losing by knockout.
Yeah, it's MMA.
And I hate to say it, and I know it ain't fair, and I know it ain't right, and I don't know the science behind it, but something about fighters losing close decisions over and over and over again,
he's lucky
they start giving up.
And he's lucky he's fighting Merab, because if he's fighting Cheeto, there's a chance it can end with a highlight reel knockout.
Dominic Reyes just lost to a jiu-jitsu guy. Yeah. So it's like sometimes you see
and this ain't the division we doing this, bro, because you got Rob Font, you got guys, man, you got killers up there, man. And even you got Cody fighting, bro. So if Cody can win, that'd be a nice good one. If Cody can win his fight and Piotr lose, I'm going with Merab. I can't pick Piotr Young.
I'm gonna sit back and chill, man, because I know Merab can make it real boring and get it like that. But Piotr is still Piotr. And like I said, these last few losses, they all got asterisks next to him, man. So it's just hard to say.
Like this video and subscribe.